Okay. Yeah. So, like you, I realized when I was a little kid that I wanted to be a teacher. Always did. They were like my heroes. Um, and then I was about 10 years old, and I went to my cousin's graduation, and I saw somebody signing from the side of the stage, and I was like, that is fascinating. Oh my gosh, I want to be a teacher for the hearing impaired. So that was my goal when I was younger. And so for a while, I went to McMurray College after I graduated from Lyons Township High School. And I went there for about a year and a half, but I had to leave because it was way expensive being a private school. So in the meantime, then life came, and I got married, and I have two kids, and so I was a teaching assistant for a very long time. I was a teaching assistant at Hinsdale Central, a teaching assistant at Lyons Township High School, and then a teaching assistant at Riverside Brookfield High School. And then the teachers at Riverside were like, what are you still doing here as a teaching assistant? Go back and get that teaching degree. And I was like, yeah, but I got two little kids at home. And they were like, they'll be fine. Just go finish your degree and it'll put you in a better place. Mm-hmm. And so I went and I got my teaching degree for, at the time, behavior and emotional disabilities, and which I also enjoy. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as I got my degree and I graduated in 2001, I got a job, and I've been with in Berwyn ever since. About to retire in June of 2026.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been there the entire time doing middle school. I never thought I wanted to do middle school. I did my teaching experience in high school. I thought that's where I wanted to be, but have a blast with the middle school kids. It's a special time. Sometimes it's harder than others. But I generally enjoy it. If I'm talking too much or saying stupid things, you just say, that's enough, Matt.
No, you're okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then in 2011, I graduated with a master's in school counseling, which I find really helps me in the classroom. So that's me. Awesome. That's just little old me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you about the first question. So, okay. When did you first know that you were part of the LGBTQ plus community?
Yeah, so I saw that question and I was like, okay, Matt, how are you going to answer that one? Because that's kind of a tricky question. Because I probably knew a lot sooner than when I acknowledged it. Mm-hmm. So I think that I acknowledged it when I was about 26, and I was in a straight relationship with two kids, and then I had a nervous breakdown. So I knew that there was something up, and thankfully I found out. I was able to come to terms with who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, about 26 is when I really knew.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of goes along with the next question of how long have you been openly gay?
Yeah. So 26 is when I acknowledged it. But I pretty much have been out because it took a little time. So so it's been about 32 years that I've been living out. Yeah, about 32 years that I've been living as an openly gay man. Yeah.
Okay. So, going along with that, have any of your students or coworkers ever treated you differently because of your sexuality?
So I'm really very lucky in Berwyn, and that's part of the reason why I've stayed there this whole time is that it has been a focus in the past of being welcoming and embracing diversity, especially the LGBTQIA plus community. Um, so much so that about 10 years ago, we even wrote a program which was acknowledged and awarded. And you can find the video with me in it on YouTube. I can always send it to you.
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. We worked with the Illinois Alliance for Safe Schools, and we wrote a program to protect our students who identified as LGBTQ, especially our transgender students. Mm-hmm. So we created a program, and we were able to go out and about and even present that to other school districts. So have I ever been treated differently by the students or coworkers? No. Students have been really, really, really good. My middle schoolers, who can be brutal at times, they're like, well, who's that man in the picture on your desk? And I'm like, that's my husband. And they're like, okay. And they kind of walk away. So it's all cool to them. Never had, only last year was a different twist in all of this. Was a parent one night at a parent teacher conference. I was sitting with my co-teacher, and we were trying to talk to dad about his son, and he told me that he didn't want to talk to me because he doesn't talk to my people. So he'll only talk to my co-teacher. And that was the only first time, but that was from a parent. Otherwise, the kids have been great, and my coworkers just amazing and lovely.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, because I know even in like the Iowa schools right now, because like that's where I go to college, it's crappy. Like they treat, it's just very crappy. To make a long story short, yeah.
Yeah. So it is interesting because I do see there's kind of a slow shift in Berwyn. People are moving in from the city, and I can tell that we even have to send out even though we had this plan in place to protect our staff and students of the LGBTQIA plus community. Now we have to send out a letter every year. I say every year, but we just started this year, of our reading list of what books we plan to read throughout the year, just because a parent questioned our choices last year. Mm-hmm. And we've never had to do that. So I do see a shift coming. So I'm a little worried. But for now, it's been great.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you answered the fourth question, so we will go on to the fifth. So how do you feel about the Don't Say Gay law and other LGBTQ plus related education laws?
Yeah. So that is kind of frightening, and I worry about kids that would identify as LGBTQIA, just because we know how that impacts just feeling honored and just feeling seen. And so the fact that I wouldn't even be able to say who I am, because kids are they're good about identifying themselves so early in life now and being like, that's just who I am. Mm-hmm. And so how do I feel about it? I'm really concerned. I'm really frightened by it, actually. Not necessarily for myself, but for the kids. I just don't want to have have to have them feel what it is to be shoved back in the closet and not be counted. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about this in my equality class.
Yeah.
And it's just scary because now in Iowa we have to say, if a student says how they identify, or even if they're questioning, we have to tell their parents now. And it's just how do you go about that? I just don't think I can do that to a student.
No.
I know for myself even too, when I was younger, some of my friends, they knew I was bi, but they never went and they were telling the teacher, and then the teacher told mom. It wasn't a thing that just happened. So I can't even imagine being in that position now.
I get that I have to call home when a kid tells me to fuck off, but I don't feel comfortable having to make that call home to be your son says he's gay, just so you know.
Yeah.
It's not my place.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really concerned. I'm really worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do to make your LGBTQ plus students feel welcome?
So because part of that plan that we wrote 10 years ago in our district, our librarian has been really good about spotlighting books and stuff like that, which I also do as a reading teacher. I include certain books throughout the year. It's not like I have an agenda, but if a book works in a unit, I'm all about including it and reading it to the kids. Welcoming. The kids know right away who I am, because I do have a rainbow sticker on my desk and a pink boa and a unicorn. So, they pretty much know right away who Mr. Dillon is. And just so that they know that there's always a safe space that they can be who they are and talk to me about who they are. I'll talk to you in any way, shape, or form. So that's how I just try to be me and I just try to live as me and to show the kids that being who I am, it's kind of cheesy, but it does get better. And at least for now, and it's okay. You're okay, and you're safe with me. So just being me and just little signs.
We need more educators like you. We really do.
Thank you. You're very sweet. You're very sweet.
So have you ever witnessed bullying because someone was part of the community?
And you mean that in a school setting?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just other than the typical kid bullying, yeah, I have, but it's always been, zero bullying, no matter what, thankfully. And I have to say that I'm just so lucky to work in Berwyn right now, is that zero bullying means zero bullying across the board. So if that does happen, if there's name calling, it gets shut down right away. Yeah,
that's
for
great.
sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I know that's not everywhere, so yeah.
Yeah.
I know our granddaughter is a high schooler and she lives in Florida. So she identifies as bi as well. So, it's quite an interesting journey to watch her as well, kind of move through that. I just wouldn't want to be her right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, right.
So how can we get others to be more open-minded about the LGBTQ plus community?
Yeah. saw this question too. And here's my answer, is that I can't change anybody's mind necessarily. It's not my right to change anybody's mind, just like you can't change my mind on going to Chick-fil-A. I just won't, I just can't, because they're just so homophobic. But if I just, I know that's not a really good answer. How can we get others to be more open-minded about that? I'm just living as me, and if you can see that I'm just being an honest and sincere person, and that I'm just getting through this life just like you and I are, and you want to sit down and chat with me about life, that's what it's all about, because I've had some chapters in my book. And so I'm willing to talk to anyone about them. And then if you're coming at me with an open mind and you're just listening to my story, and I for sure would love to listen to your story as well and learn about anybody else, gay, straight, white, black, purple with pink polka dots, I don't care. And we can share a laugh and a joke and maybe even a handshake. That's great. And I think that if I'm able to show how I feel about my community and live my truth in front of everybody and open, then it's going to reflect, it's going to somehow, I'm hoping, would attract those people who are open to it, and they can understand and appreciate who I am.
Yeah.
And that'll open their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that made sense and it wasn't too weird.
No, that did make sense.
Okay, good.
So what do you think people should know about the LGBTQ plus community?
That we are a fucking blast. That we are a lot of fun. Again, we're just as similar as everybody else, just trying to make it through this world and trying to understand why groceries are so expensive and just getting through the world, and that we just want to, just have a place at the table as well. And that we'll work with anybody who is not evil towards us, and that we're just the same. We just do it with glitter.
Yep.
Great answer.
Sorry.
Out of all the answers I've given, that's the best answer. I love.
Yep, me too.
We just do it with glitter.
Yes. And I think that's what people don't realize, is that we're really not different. Like, we're not different.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay, now this one is a complicated one.
Yeah.
What is some advice you would like to give to future educators?
Yeah, so I thought about this one as well. And I might cry. I just want, and I get the sense that I will from you, but for all future educators, I would just want you to take care of the kids. Because like I said earlier, I'm just so frightened for them.
Yeah.
So, I just need you to, and when I say you, I mean all future educators, is that I just need you to understand that you have 28 little faces in front of you, and that means you have 28 different personalities and 28 different little people sitting there, and they are all looking to you to be recognized. And somehow you have got to honor and respect all 28 little individuals and never put one above the other. So my advice is just see and honor each little face in front of you, and guide them along the way, and show them, if they're not being shown at home, at least show them some love and respect, so that they can eventually remember that as they go out into the world in the future, and maybe share even that small, minute time that they had with you, and they felt that love and respect, that they show it to others. And that's how the world's going to change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's my answer.
That was beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be expecting my award in the mail.
I'll definitely send it to you. Don't worry.